This is the second part in my discussion on why being middle-aged it seems so much better in many ways than being young. Well, I mentioned in the first part that being young can be hard because you've got peer pressure, people your own age picking on you. You're also living with your parents, and it can be hard to comply with their restrictions sometimes. And right. But now, I mean, both my parents have been dead for years. My dad's been dead for near enough 19 years. Well, it'll be 19 years on the 20th of this month. And my mum, she's been dead for nearly 7 years now. You know, it'll be 7 years at the end of next month since she died, and I'm just used to being without them. I mean, I just feel free, really. Very. When your parents have been a bit restrictive towards you, you can. Sometimes you can feel very free after they've passed away, and free from their restrictions. And anyway, I was going to get on to the bullying aspect of being young in this part. Well, that's what I'm going to talk about, bullying basically. As a couple of YouTube clips I've done previously are actually related to this. Well, one is the I don't know if you can see my playlist or not. I've got a playlist called Northwich Cheshire, and if you can see, well, you just need to have a look through me vids, and you can see the anti-bullying concert in memory of Lauren Lonek, the 16-year-old girl from Northwich who committed suicide a few years back actually, and have a look through. You'll find it quite easily, and she was she committed suicide, and it was widely believed to be because she was being picked on, and also there was there's me review of the DVD, the film on DVD called The Elephant Man, and that's about a man living in the 19th century with a physical deformity. And on the description of it, I put that I had a childhood friend who had a physical deformity. He had an abnormally sized eye, and he couldn't go to school because the other children called him a big-eyed monster. And I actually heard a little boy calling him a big-eyed monster when I was out playing with him once, and the younger children can seem to be more cruel than older ones, because for the simple reason is that they're not as discriminating about who they pick on. A teenager will pick and choose someone they think they're justified in picking on, but a younger child won't. They'll pick on anybody they perceive to be different in some way. Where it could be someone with a physical deformity, someone with a severe mental impairment. I think they're 16-year-olds. A 16-year-old probably wouldn't call somebody a big-eyed monster in most cases. That seemed immature to them. No, they think I'm not going to do that at my age. I'm too old for that. But they will pick on somebody if you don't like them. They won't, you know what I mean? In fact, they could even make someone's life in miles of misery. And the it's it wouldn't usually be so, but it probably wouldn't be someone with a physical disfigurement or someone with a severe mental handicap. Although there was a man that used to live in Barnton. They used to call him Eddie Nutter, and it was the older teenagers who shouted Eddie Nutter at him on the school bus. But then again, they probably wouldn't pick on him as bad as someone their own age who they perceive to be a bit of the ones who get. I think bullying is at its peak at age, probably at its peak at age 16, and the ones it's directed towards are the peers who someone they perceive to be a bit of an idiot, someone they don't like, and they can't really help not liking that person. It's just the reason why they don't like him is because the differences in personality, the clash of personality. Really, it's just there are differences that between teenagers very often that are difficult to reconcile, and that's what results in bullying. The thing about me, when I was in my mid-20s, I was diagnosed with a form of autism called Asperger's syndrome, and I was in my early 20s. I was diagnosed as a mild schizophrenic, but when I was at school, a lot of my schoolmates used to think I was thick and dozy and dormant and gormless and all the rest of it. That those are just the normal names, ordinary names that teenagers call each other. And I did a discussion on nicknames, didn't it? My nickname when I was at school was Dinky Dalton. There was one lad that used to sit next to me on the school bus and call me Simple and Backwards. And what he actually told me once was that there was some girl that he knew that he'd heard some girl saying it's tight how everyone picks on Dinky because he is a bit backwards. And he sort of reeled this list off the things that had done that seemed uncharacteristic of a person my age. And because of these things that had done, the way he'd come to the conclusion that it was simple and backwards. But you know what I mean, as I got older, he wasn't like that the same. He became more friendly towards me. He wasn't, and there was another lad. There was one that called me. He used to pick on me. He used to pick on me for religious reasons, and he also used to think I was stupid as well. They called me a dozy cretin. But when I went on his college course, and he ran out after him, and his mate ran after me, shouting a lot of anti-religious persecution. But I saw him outside, but when he was in me sort of like mid-20s, and he wasn't like that. He was quite friendly towards me. It's just he probably wouldn't remember all the times he picked on me. I think really the bullying probably seems to be at its peak at around about age 16. Then as you get to like mid-20s, it's all just forgotten about. It's all that it's mid-20s, I think, is the age when people fully mature. That's why car insurance costs more for people under 25. because of the level of maturity is not as high. They tend to have more accidents under that age. I think mid-20s. I think your mid-20s is a time when you really grow up in a lot of ways. The age of majority these days is 18. Well, up until 1969, 1970, it was 21. You couldn't get married, and you couldn't get married. I don't think you can get. I don't think you can leave home, get married, or leave home without your parents' consent until you were 21. Actually, in Bible times, the age of majority was 30. You weren't actually considered an adult until the age of 30 in Bible times. But I think when as people get in their 20s, they start to become more tolerant of each other. They don't pick on each other the same. They've become more tolerant of other people's shortcuts, other people's imperfections. I think a person such as me, who has this Asperger's syndrome, they could just be accepted for who they are, rather than just perceived to be an idiot, as they have been when they were in the teens. I think with teenagers, they think there's certain people they won't pick. There's certain people they won't pick on. They are discriminating as to who they will pick on. Probably, ones they consider to have a severe mental impairment or a physical deformity. They won't pick on them. It's tight. It's they sort of have they have a sort of how can I put it? They have a sort of standard of morality as to who they can, as to who that they can pick on, and this lad that I went to school on the bus with, he as I said before, he told me that a girl had said that it was tight that everyone picked on me because I was a bit backwards, and he thought this was cruel and unsympathetic, and but I think I think I was thought to be a bit of an idiot when it was a teenager at times, because other people my own age, so sometimes got the impression that was putting it on, that it wasn't, but what I didn't really have anything wrong with me. It was just it was. I went on this Jewish training scheme at Winsford when I was 16, and there was on one occasion a couple of mentally handicapped boys came. I think a couple of boys from some special school came to have a look at the place, to visit the place one day, and there was this lad there. He didn't like me very much, and he says, with him, it's tight because it's not his fault, but we felt it's not. He didn't think it was a case. He said to me, "Stop acting so thick." And this girl said, "Philip, acting like you think when you know full well that you're not." and that was what she thought. She thought I was. She didn't think there was genuinely anything wrong with me. She thought that's what she thought. She thought it was. I think that's what teenagers have thought about me. That there isn't anything, and there isn't anything genuinely wrong with me. That it's just the way I am. It's just putting on a show. It's all pretend. That's what they've seemed to have thought about me in the past. I have got something. I mean, I think my brain is 95% normal, really, but there's just a little 5% there of it there that isn't, and so sometimes if the 5% of your brain that isn't normal is what teenagers find especially hard to relate to. I mean, I'm 95% capable of driving. If you look through my videos on Asperger's syndrome and driving, you'll it was a bit of a sorry tale because it's been written off now. But I wasn't doing so badly prior to the accident that I had, and hundreds of people have having accidents every day. But because I'm having to manage on a bit of a tight budget now, it's not worth me pursuing it any further. But I feel my life is so much better now because I feel free of all this bullying and all this criticism, and people thinking I'm an idiot, and I'm simple and backwards, or I'm just acting as though there's something wrong with me when there isn't. All these things that people have said about me, it's all in the past. In fact, I don't know why I'm even talking about it. Really, it's just because it's probably just because I'm bored. Right, really, I've got nothing else to do. But it's interesting to listen to what someone's got to say on this subject, isn't it? It's all informative. Anyway, I'll be back soon with more discussions.